Certainty. There is a significant debate happening around the world at the minute about certainty. The way we transact, the way we buy properties differs in England as it does in Spain, as it does in Holland, as it does in America. We all have different ways we buy and sell properties. The one thing that is still the same, however, is the person who has at that point fallen in love with that property, they have uncertainty. The person who is selling that property is worried. Is this deal going to go through? Is it going to work? I'm really worried. So, one of the biggest trends we're starting to see, and it started in America, is that of what we call the iBuyer. Now, it's still relatively unknown. In fact, one of the largest organizations in the United Kingdom just last week has launched an iBuyer program. They run an organization of 400 independent estate agents and brokers, and they had a conference a little bit like this, and I felt a bit sorry for them because they came to the stage and they said, right, we've got this most amazing initiative, we're going to do really amazing things now, we are going to make an iBuyer. And they said, who's heard about an iBuyer? And apparently, in a room of 400 estate agents, one person put their hand up. So it's still a new concept. What the concept is and we're seeing this with Clica and Tico here in Spain, who are very, very new. The concept is simple. They give the seller certainty because they buy the property from them instantly. They have significant capital in Clica's $9 million. Tico, they've raised $11 million. They are able to use what they called auto-valuation models, or AVMs, as we're calling them, to give that seller an estimated price of the property. And they can come on and say, well, we think your property is worth 100,000 euros. And if they agree, they buy it. Done. It's instant. There's no chain, there's no delay, it's an instant purchase. They are an iBuyer. Now, why am I bringing this to you? We're seeing this as a significant chain in the US. We're seeing it happen in the UK. These are two companies in Spain that are doing it. It's solving a problem the consumers have, which is uncertainty. Is it going to work? No one has yet made a profit. Not one company has made a profit. In fact, Redfin, which is one of the companies in America, didn't make a profit. In fact, they doubled their loss. But what I'm telling you is a consumer is demanding of certainty. It's one of the models that is happening in PropTech today, which is having an impact. Let's look at transparency. These are two British companies. Let's say that the certainty of the iBuyer model is not necessarily there, but you still go through with the traditional model of buying and selling. You still have a group of people that wants to understand where they are in the events. Have the lawyers been instructed? Has the survey been done? View My Chain and Your Keys are two companies that are bringing transparency to the market so that the buyer and the seller know exactly what has happened, to whom, and when. Which, I can't speak for your market, but in other markets around Europe, one of the biggest frustrations and why home moving is the second most stressful event that anybody goes through is because there's a lack of transparency about the process. They don't know if the lawyer's been contacted. What have they been contacted about? Have they requested a survey yet? These are two companies which are making significant amends with that. In fact, Your Keys down here has just received $4.5 million in funding. It specializes in the new build market, in the construction market. They are now getting the average exchange time, so when the contracts are exchanged between buyer and seller, to 7 days. And the reason why is because they're working really hard with the conveyancers to drive down the inefficiencies in that particular segment of the transaction process. Let's look at security. This is more around the rental market. And we're going to talk about affordability in a minute, but obviously the rental market is one of the most significant upturns in recent years because the millennial generation are struggling to buy their own homes. So on the other side of it, in security, is the security of the landlord. And so these are two firms, Valvida and Rentuos, again, relatively new firms, who are looking at rent guarantee schemes. So they're certainly, if you're looking in that market, are probably two different firms that you should be reviewing.